This is Barry's Alma, speaking for Claim School Incorporated's blogs, Alma on Insurance. Today we're going to speak about why an unambiguous exclusion will always be effective and why every exclusion must be read as a part of an entire policy when interpreting whether to apply an exclusion or not. McCann Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, Inc., Andrew R. McCann and Wendy McCann sued Pekin Insurance Company for breach of an insurance contract and sought declaratory judgment because of the demolition of an adjacent building damaged the McCann's building. In McCann Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling versus Pekin Insurance Company, a August 23, 2023 decision of the Court of Appeals of Illinois broke ground with the first ruling on a governmental action exclusion in the state of Illinois. Andrew McCann and Wendy McCann own a commercial building in Onarga, Illinois. They purchased the building in 2011 to use for McCann Plumbing, an air conditioning business. At the time of purchase, the building was surrounded by two uninhabited properties to its north and south. Pekin Insurance Company is a licensed provider of personal and commercial insurance and provides insurance policies to the residents of the state of Illinois. The McCanns and Pekin entered into a commercial lines insurance policy that provided insurance coverage for direct physical loss or damage to the covered property, which included the McCanns' building and their business tangible property stored in the building. The village of Onarga declared that the building adjacent and to the south of the McCanns' property was in an unsafe or unsanitary condition and ordered the building to be demolished. On January 23, 2018, a contractor retained by the village demolished the building. The parties stipulated that in the course of the adjacent building's destruction, the McCanns' building was damaged, leaving a portion of their building open to the elements. The McCanns sought coverage from Pekin for damage incurred from the January 23, 2018 demolition. In response to the McCanns' claim, Pekin tendered a letter on March 21, 2018, denying coverage for damage resulting from the demolition based on several exclusionary provisions of their policy, including the governmental action exclusion. In granting Pekin's motion for judgment on the pleadings, the Circuit Court found that the governmental action exclusion applied and dismissed the case. Neither party disputed that the village's directive to demolish the adjacent property constituted an order of governmental authority. The parties stipulated that on or about January 23, 2018, the adjacent building was demolished, and both parties agreed, at least to some extent, that the McCanns' property incurred damage as a result of the adjacent building's destruction. The central issue was whether the damage was caused directly or indirectly from the destruction and whether the damage fell within the purview of the governmental action exclusion under the parties' commercial lines insurance policy. There was no binding authority in Illinois interpreting the applicability of the governmental action exclusion, and as a consequence, there's no Illinois case law offering guidance on whether this exclusion may be broadly applied to exclude losses incurred ancillary to a governmental order. The commercial lines insurance policy before the Court of Appeals featured the adverbial phrase, quote, directly or indirectly, close quote, modifying the verb, quote, caused, close quote, with the preamble sentence for the exclusions, quote, we will not pay for loss or damage caused directly or indirectly by any of the following, including governmental action, close quote. For the exclusion to apply, however, it was necessary that the destruction of property be carried out through an order of governmental authority. Considering the preamble sentence and the relevant exclusion together, the court found at a minimum that the McCann's property damage is a loss that grew out of and was therefore caused indirectly from the destruction of the adjacent property. Further, the McCann's loss fell under the governmental action exclusion because the damage stemmed from the village's demolition order. The McCanns asserted that the village's demolition order only sanctioned damage to the adjacent building and not their own. Therefore, a narrow reading of the exclusion's phrase by order of governmental authority does not include the McCann's property, as there was never an order of destruction against their property. However, reading the policy in its entirety, the exemption covers, quote, loss or damage caused directly or indirectly, close quote, through the, quote, destruction of property by order of governmental authority, close quote. A plain reading of these clauses together does not imply a separate order is required for the exclusion to attach and the exemption to apply. In my opinion, the greatest error made by people interpreting an insurance policy is to take a part of a policy without reading it in context with the entire policy. The Court of Appeals of Illinois read the entire policy and disabused the plaintiffs of their claims, trying to take a small part of a policy to change its meaning. The attempt failed because the full policy made it clear that the plaintiff's property was damaged by the order of the governmental authority to demolish the adjacent property, resulting directly in the damage of the plaintiff's property. Of course, the plaintiffs could have sued the village and it could have sued the contractor who caused the damage, but they did not. They went for the insurance company thinking that was the easiest way to make some money out of property damage. This video was adapted from my blog, Zelma on Insurance, which is available free to anyone who clicks on the URL zelma.com/blog. If you found this blog to be of interest to you, please tell your friends and colleagues about the blog and the videos, and let them subscribe to the blog and the videos. The blog subscription is free, and you will get notice of at least 5, sometimes 6 videos and blogs a week, and access to the more than 4,600 blog postings. You might also find it interesting to subscribe to the videos, which are also free. And if you do, I'd appreciate it if you click on the like button on YouTube or the thumbs up button on rumble.com. And if you need further detailed information about insurance, insurance law, insurance claims, and insurance fraud, you might consider, for a small fee, subscribing to my Locals community or my Substack publications. Thank you for your attention.